Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people who hate reading. This week we're doing the new Bond film Skyfall, made in 2012, and we bring you movie news at the end of the program. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, and the man of the little box, Ryan Preston. This week we're doing the Bond movie Skyfall, like we said in the opening. So James, what's this movie about?
This is just another Bond movie. Well, this one is actually starring Daniel Craig. I should say just another Bond movie.
Well, there's like 12 of them. 1,200
yeah,
of
there's
them.
like a ton of them. Anyway, this one...
If you've never seen a Bond movie, it's more of that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
pretty much. This one is actually, you know, they... you don't know. That's why I'm telling you. Anyways,
Rewind.
this one is that he's in the midst of getting a list that they had lost. They had some computers hacked that had all their secret agents spread around the world with their secret identities. And this list is getting into enemy hands. He gets lost. He gets taken.
You remember the plot of Mission Impossible 1? It's that, but British.
Yeah, exactly. That actually is really well said. I wasn't going to go there, but you did.
It was the NATO, the entire NATO list, right? It wasn't just them.
It wasn't just them, but it was it was them plus all the other ones that are out there that are part of the.
It was the knock list.
NATO. Yeah. So that was getting in the hands of a former 00 agent, and he gets gay with Bond and shenanigans.
Yeah.
So,
wow, that's a controversial.
Yeah, that one thing, that one 10 seconds of film was a major plot point. What the entire movie revolved around.
Yeah. So now, as far as me, since I started this, I'm just gonna jump right in. This one actually, I kind of felt like this one threw you into the main plot like really quickly. Because, most Bond movies, you have him wrapping up a former mission.
Right.
Most of them, they start out with that. He's just finishing up a former mission, and then he gets into whatever this next mission is.
Yeah, usually that former mission sort of has something in a small way to do with a larger thing that's about to go down.
Yeah, but not something that was like...
Just like Mission Impossible.
Like this one is pretty much you had the main part of the story right there in front of you at the beginning.
Sure.
Which is a little bit different for a Bond movie. And but it seems like this is kind of Daniel Craig's type of Bond. The other ones he did the same. It was kind of the same way.
Well, the way I sort of looked at it is obviously these are all still prequels. Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall. They're all still prequels as far as the Bond universe is concerned.
Yeah.
This one is sort of the wrap up to the prequel, moving it in to the one that we're used to.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. It does play a little more towards Daniel Craig's Bond because this is sort of what it's the closest to what people remember as Bond.
Okay.
That they wanted to see, and so he's actually getting to play not the young version of Bond, but the actual Bond version of Bond.
Now, another thing that I just kind of thought was, they've always bugged me. I don't like the Bond movie openings.
You don't like the barrel?
I don't like the trippy,
that's right, the music
sensual, the music video thing going on in the beginning. It always bugged me, but it wouldn't be a true Bond movie without that. And
I missed the controversial opening, the last one, where it had a guy do it.
Yeah, that was a little bit of, wait, this is supposed to be feminine, not gay.
Chris Cornell that did the last one?
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah. I did like seeing Jean-Baptiste as Q. Now, Ryan, I don't know if you recognized who he is. Did you know who he is?
I recognize him. I can't place from what.
Are you ready? Perfume.
Yes, sir.
The Story of Murder.
Oh, damn.
That's who that was.
Oh, wow.
Which is in my movie list. People out there, if you have not seen this movie, it's going to be coming up probably in about a month or two. But this is one that's in my list, is the movie that he's from. And it's a great movie. Interesting story. Weird concept. Just really good movie. But I thought it was kind of funny because he threw back. I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but there was a lot of different subtleties of previous Bond gadgets.
Yeah.
He brought up the exploding pen from the Pierce Bronson,
right.
clicking. And then the car.
An exploding pen.
And then the car was a big one.
Almost a nod to like how crappy the ideas were for gadgets back in the day.
Yeah, it was. I was a little disappointed that they didn't have the tinfoil jetpack.
Sure.
Well, the
little kit helicopter in a crate.
That one too.
But the jetpack was real, and that was the actual Bond car. That was the legit car from Sean Connery's movie, which was cool.
Yep,
I know.
Exactly. It was a DB5.
Yeah, it's Austin Martin.
Yes.
Yeah.
My favorite line in that movie is that from "Go ahead, eject me, see if I care."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought Em did a great job in this one. She even I thought it was pretty cute, the fact of the speech she gave. I thought that was very interesting, that about talking about the safety of Brits, that they think that they're way too safe. I thought that was very interesting, especially in the day of society today. The way that society's going today.
I wonder how that particular...
I thought that was really well done.
I wonder how that particular part of the movie actually... how the British actually handled that particular...
I don't care. I thought it was really well done.
I agree completely.
I thought it was very, timely of a thing.
I like Judi Dench.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well she's been a sort of the Rock in these movies, as M.
Now I have one little thing that I was going to do as well, but I think I might save it until you guys are all done. Those were pretty much my points. I thought that some of the writing, as far as the script and everything in this movie, was actually really well done and actually kind of fit in a timely manner to where the political scheme of the world is going today. Sure. I thought that was really well done.
Excuse me.
Other than the fact that it was really cool to see some of these new actors that didn't really get into the big blockbuster movies or getting into there, like Jean-Baptiste. Right. He's a great actor.
Is that the black chick? Is she in any other movies? Because she looks familiar, but I just can't place her.
Yeah, I couldn't place her either.
I think she's just got one of those faces. I don't think I've seen her in anything.
Okay.
And other than the normal kind of little things about the Bond movies that bug me as normal, but that was just in there as well. I mean, there's just kind of the Bond genre type of thing that is always in there. But other than that, what did you guys have? Ryan?
I'll go.
All right.
If you don't mind, Ryan.
Go for it, man.
So I was a little harsher on it because I just wrote down stuff that really stood out to me, so some of the stuff is stupid obvious. The opening bike chase was horrible because the background was dark and he was bright. It was almost like the contrast was completely different from him and then the background.
All right.
That's one of the part that I noticed. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
A little bit.
I said, it's stupid obvious. The I thought it was funny is the fireworks scene at when him and the black chick. I just wish I remember her name.
Well, I don't remember her name from here, but her actual name is Naomi Harris, and what you guys are recognizing from her is probably because she's the black pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, I knew I recognized her.
Eve is her name in the Bond.
So I like the whole suggesting they had sex without actually doing it. I thought that was pretty clever. The way they did that was really well done.
Right.
And the scene when the new Q plugged in the enemy's laptop was beyond obvious. I was yelling.
I was disappointed at Q for that one.
I was yelling. He redeemed himself by going, "Oh crap!"
Yeah,
and that amusing little British brogue. I actually really liked a little bit about Bond's background, which I don't remember them ever really talking about his childhood a whole lot in any of the movies.
They really didn't.
Which I thought was cool.
They sort of brought up that he was an orphan in Casino Royale, but that was sort of just hinted at,
Have they
hinted at it in a couple of, I think it was one of the Roger Moores they hinted at it. I remember he was flirting with somebody and was talking about that he didn't really have parents or something.
I don't remember
which hinted that he was an orphan.
Overall, I think that fits in with the other Bonds. Not sure if it fits in with the Daniel Craig versions of the Bond. This to me had a little bit of feel. My last note was closest you can get to GoldenEye without all the bright colors and gadgets and Pierce Brosnan. To me, this fit perfectly with that. Didn't fit really well to me with the more grittier Casino Royale and I keep forgetting the Quantum of Solace.
Right.
And the one I was thinking of, I think, is Live and Let Die by Roger Moore. I think that one hints to his background. Anyway,
okay. So that was my thing. It just didn't seem to fit. I enjoyed it, but I thought it just didn't quite mesh with the previous two.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. But I think that as far as what a Bond movie goes for, I mean, if you take all the actors that have ever played Bond, Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, if you take all those and wrap them together...
Don't forget George Lazenby.
Wasn't... All right, fine.
Hey, Her Majesty's Secret Service, one of my favorite ones.
I do say that, though, that this is... I think this is getting back to the original Bond with Sean Connery. This doesn't have all the gizmos and gadgets that had, but I think that the feel of it is more closer, I think, to its roots than the later films.
Okay.
Right. Well, okay. I'm gonna jump off from right there because that's pretty much where I was gonna start anyway. It felt... Something about it as I was watching about the first half of it into the second act, I was thinking something was a little different than how they were portraying it in the first couple.
Is there an earthquake happening over there?
A plane flying overhead? What are you?
No, I thought that was you.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I was trying to figure out
in your backyard or something.
Not where I live.
Anyway.
Maybe it's your roommate from L.A.
I would be able to hear him from here.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that noise is.
Sorry,
Anyway,
non sequitur.
Anyway, this one, I couldn't put my finger on what was sort of different. And then I started sort of noticing a bunch of things that were sort of reminding me of the old school Bonds. Obviously, at the end, like right at the end, it snapped into focus. Just ignore it. Just ignore it.
It's hard not. All right, go on.
You were saying, because he really interrupted you.
But, okay, so the way I looked at Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, which I wasn't the biggest fan of. Okay, I'm just going to say that Quantum of Solace was a little bit off. Casino Royale was incredible. But the way I've looked at them is this is the beginning. This is sort of the roots of why Bond is the way he is. Like, we all know Bond is basically a really good spy, alcoholic, womanizing, kind of an asshole.
Cold-blooded.
You know what I mean? If you really just break down his character, aside from he's a real smart ass, but, you know, which is funny when you're a third party, but the people he's talking to, he's just kind of a dick. Let's be honest.
But if you did what he did for a living, come on, that's a little...
Sure, absolutely. But the way that Casino Royale sort of portrayed it and the subsequent movies was sort of like, this is how he became this sort of heartless... You know, like womanizer, never really gets tied down with anything. You know, I mean, you could tell, like even in the old school ones, that he has his issues with
authority and women
and things like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just kind of the way it is,
right? So this sort of
I'm going to get to that in a second.
How that happened and why he is the way he was. And then at the end of the movie, it just all sort of snapped into focus. Like, okay, this is literally bridging the gap between old Bond and new Bond, or young Bond and older Bond. You know,
so
you bring in the male M. You got Penny right there.
Well, I did not like that she was Money Penny.
I thought it was cool.
I thought that was crap.
I liked
it a lot.
I thought it was crap.
So you just got outvoted. You're wrong.
No, it's crap. That was so stupid. So stupid.
James fears change. Okay, so he just, you know.
For some reason, I really want to throw 50 cents at him.
That was so stupid that they just all of a sudden, oh, hi, I'm Money Penny. Whatever.
Yeah, I didn't catch your name, 35 days ago when we were working together for X amount.
And when you shot me.
Right, yeah.
By the way, world's worst shot. Miss the dude you're aiming for, hit the dude you shouldn't hit.
I know, I was like, why didn't she just go for the hedge? I mean, never mind, she had too many opportunities to get that shot. Go on. Sorry.
Anyway,
way too many times.
Not necessarily the plot, but I thought the acting was a little more playing towards the original strengths of Bond than usual, and it's sort of like I said, it kind of walked that line, between the gritty and what people liked, and it kind of sort of left you hints like we talked about throughout the whole movie.
So what do you think though? Do you think it's close to GoldenEye? I mean, that's kind of the feel.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was. You're right, dude. It was about as close to GoldenEye as you can get within the world that they sort of created. Because obviously they're doing everything modern day, so there's that element. But that all just goes to play in your mind, like okay, this is modern and feasible.
Exactly.
But the.
Sorry, it's slightly distracting. I'm trying to listen to you, but also
a little bit. doing my best to ignore it. You guys apparently are not.
No, we're not. We're having fun with it.
We're both ADD. Kind of hard not to. Whoa, you know.
Shiny.
And it's what was Ryan talking about again?
No, I agree with you. Okay, now
I loved the idea of the old 00 agent sort of as the Bond villain, again, sort of harkening back to the GoldenEye sort of plot. But then
you mean Mission Impossible?
But this guy was a little different because he was sort of the predecessor of Bond. You know what I mean? Like the legend already in MI6.
I think if anything, I think he was the failed 00. He was. I think if you want to do it kind of cheesily said, I think he was the prototype that failed. He was the Bond that couldn't let go of his attachments. That's the reason why Bond is so cold and so good. Is at the end he just doesn't care. His goal is to get the mission done most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and because obviously every time he gets close to a chick, she dies.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, there's always Christmas Jones.
Right. Oh God, dude, that movie doesn't even exist. That's like Batman Forever. Just don't ever bring it up.
Come on, she played a great nuclear. I can't even say it.
Nuclear scientist.
Sorry,
nuclear. Sorry, Bush.
So what were you gonna say, James?
What I was going to bring up is, now I put a list together, and thank you, Ryan. I forgot about George Lazenby. I'm sorry. Anyway,
Lazenby.
You're welcome. Now, I put together a list of all the Bonds and kind of the Bonds that they played. Now, the first one that we're going to discuss is Sean Connery.
Right.
Now, he was the one who played the lover Bond, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And that's why everybody likes him, is because he was the romantic.
Charming.
Yeah, he'd come in, he'd be the romantic guy, he'd be the charming guy, he'd be the guy that you want to be friends with.
Right, yeah, the guy that you walk in and immediately start picking up chicks, kind of Bond.
Yeah.
You know?
The Bond that would sleep with anything that was female.
And then George Lazenby comes in. And now, mind you, he only played Bond for one movie. That's why I kind of forgot about him. But he goes, he pretty much said, "Hi, I'm Bond. I kill people and have sex later."
Right.
So that's pretty much the way that he played Bond. Now, Roger Moore, one of my favorites, he played Bond as it's a job.
Like a spy.
He played it as a job.
Wasn't he the kind of cocky Bond?
Yes, he was the cocky Bond. I know what I'm doing. And anything in my way is just going to end up being a casualty, so who gives a rip?
He's the one that used to explode his cars all the time. Is that the one? That's what I thought.
And that's who I liked. I really liked him. If you want...
And look, and James and I have talked about this many years ago, but obviously Roger Moore was supposed to be the first one to play Bond.
He was.
But Sean Connery was like contractually obligated in something else, and he couldn't do it.
No, he couldn't be in Sean
Connery. Roger Moore was contracted in something else, so they had to get Sean Connery. And obviously, as soon as Roger Moore became available and they were looking for somebody, they snatched him up right away.
Yeah, and he played Bond very well. He's one of my favorites. If you want an actual spy Bond, that's who you're looking for, Roger Moore.
Right.
And now, Timothy Dalton, as far as I'm concerned, played an angry Bond.
And that was 80s, right?
Yes. So that was late 70s into the 80s.
So that was the one with Christopher Walken?
Yes. I believe so.
Yeah. Tim Dalton was a little more contemptuous of people, not necessarily a big fan. Yeah, just kind of crotchety.
Yeah, he was kind of the angry Bond, and if you're in my way, you're pissing me off type of thing.
Unless you're
that's
a woman.
how it won.
Yeah.
And no, if you're a woman, even still, he would go for you.
I imagine Tim Dalton to be in real life is just kind of cranky.
Yeah, just a prick.
Yeah.
And then we have Pierce Bronson, who came out, and he is pretty much looking for love. That's pretty much the way that I was looking.
I would say he's the over the top Bond. He's the one who has a cell phone with 1,000,000 volts. He's the cheesy gadget. Yeah. I've got more money than brains Bond.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Is he's the one looking for love, looking for somebody to recognize his skills.
He's the one that he's looking for the plot the whole time.
Yeah, he wants a prize, pretty much. Here, give him a cookie. Daniel Craig comes along, and he's pretty much the Bond that's looking for focus, and that's where we're at right now. And that, I think, is exactly what they were looking for in the role, is somebody who is learning the ropes, and that's pretty much what it is. And this movie, to me, is him getting his focus.
I'll agree.
Right.
Kind of getting his realignment.
I could agree with that. I mean, it's him basically, like at the end of the movie, he just puts on the Bond face. Like, all right, this is how I'm going to be. I've learned exactly this kind of spy I need to be. in order not to get, hurt and attached to these things.
Which I think is a good step into the Roger Moore Bond, not the Sean Connery, which is interesting because Sean Connery was before Roger Moore.
So this is so he's the Bond that realizes that he doesn't have to physically be the best, because he's older than everybody else. He has to play it a certain way that works.
Exactly, and that's what I think Roger Moore's character
like
was.
That in this movie, you can tell
totally.
Like he's starting to get aged a little bit. He's starting to kind of be the old dog already. And in the old ones, I mean, Bond, I think in the original books was like 55 or something like that.
I thought he was old. I didn't know he was quite that old.
No, he was like a senior citizen, like he was some kind of a Navy officer.
Somehow.
And he was an old bastard.
So he shows up with his, senior discount.
And a tube of Bengay.
Yeah. You'd always see, that's the thing. If his enemies always wanted to kill him, they could just find him at a Coco's at 3 o'clock.
There's a reference nobody's gonna really know.
So anyway, I actually like this one, and I thought it was really well done that they wrapped it up that way, because that's the way I looked at this Bond. Is that this is the precursors to all the Sean Connerys, the George, the Roger, any of those.
Lazenby.
Yeah, the Lazenby, George Lazenby.
He is, however, I watched the Tonight Show with Jay Leno he was on. He said he's contractually obligated to 2 more films.
Really?
So there's potentially to be 2 more.
That's honestly what I was hoping, was that they're going to start from the place where people know Bond from back in the day, and now they have this great sort of foundation of what it's supposed to be like, coupled with, and now everybody's looking forward to the original, fucking Q's back. The original M, you got Moneypenny, and everything's sort of back to normal, but in this universe.
So what if they recreated one of the first Bonds?
So that's what I'm curious about. I'm curious if he's going to step into and play, and who he's going to actually play it like. Is either he's going to play it like like Connery, or more, because as far as I'm concerned,
if he's smart, he has to just build off of what he's already created. You know what I mean? Just
he
slightly...
he won't copy anybody. He'll continue on with the roles he's gotten.
But what I'm saying is
his role has been different enough thus far that he can just.
But is he going to go for the lover Bond, or is he going to go for the just a job Bond? Because what I'm saying is that he's already got his focus now. He's played Bond
go for the job Bond, but then sort of the opportunist lover boy kind
I think he's going to go for more of the cold Bond, the dude who sleeps with somebody, but if his job requires him to be vicious, he'll be vicious.
So like a mix of Moore and Dalton?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's going to be the Bond that if his job requires you to kill you, he'll do it.
Yeah, he's going to be the one that sleeps with the chick and is gone before she wakes up in the morning.
Yeah.
Which is Dalton.
Yeah.
Right.
Moore actually just asked him to leave.
Would you please leave, ma'am? So, what about? So, I'm curious, James. What was your rating on this one?
I give this one a 3. I'm a fan of the Bonds, but I don't think this one was anywhere like outstanding or anything. I don't even think I'd give Casino Royale a 4 either. I think I'd stick them all into a 3 category. I like them as a series. They might go into a 4 if you take out a couple, but
okay.
I enjoy these movies, but I don't think that they're. I don't think there's too many things in them that I can nitpick. Of course, a chick who can't make a shot on a moving target. That I'm gonna nitpick the crap out of that one.
Yeah, who's trained?
Yeah,
that
really bugs me if you can't tell.
Look, that's why she got an office job.
It's not as annoying as the Expendables when the cylinder kept rotating after he was empty.
Yeah.
But I agree. I give it a strong 3 out of 5. My thing is, I don't know if any Bond movie or the Bond movie specifically is a 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5. I don't know if it's written that way. I enjoy it. I think this has the GoldenEye potential to be one that you could watch every year because it's on like GoldenEye.
Sure.
GoldenEye has, I think it has decent rewatchability. I don't know if it has the same level as GoldenEye does because it's so cheesy that it's entertaining.
All right. I was going to say GoldenEye is pretty bad, though.
Well, yes, but...
GoldenEye was great for when it came out. That was the one that spawned, the world's best freaking video game. It was like the start of first-person shooters for console.
Yeah, I'll give
the
you
world's
that.
worst controller. So what about you, Ryan? What was your score?
The cheapest character.
I'm pretty much right with you, John, dude. Like, I don't know if any of the Bonds can ever hold up as a 4, but anybody who's a Bond fan doesn't care about.
Isn't looking for him to be
full. You know, like the actual, like, oh, this is by the numbers what I would score this movie if I'm just marking the checklist of things that it accomplished or things that it didn't. But what I always factor in with these movies is just like, I'm a fan of the genre of, you know, sort of this kind of spy genre. And then Bonds have always just done it in a much more fun way than you were used to. And now, you know, with our generation, we're kind of used to this, like everything's kind of getting a little more of a darker, you know, tinge to it, and we're starting to see the more gritty, realistic versions of these things. And this is one of those that managed to do that and sort of maintain some of its playfulness.
Exactly.
And especially with this last one, you know, with a bunch of the little one-liners that he brought in. And you know, the little nods to the past movies and things like that.
I still love the exploding pen comment. That's still one of my favorites.
Right, yeah, exactly. And things for Bond fans, you know, and that's why the people who watch Bond movies are Bond fans. Okay, so anybody who saw this movie was probably a fan.
I guarantee they were.
And if you weren't, I mean, maybe you weren't a fan of the old ones, but now you're a fan of this particular iteration of Bond, you know?
Well, that's the thing. I wonder if people are really looking at this and then they go back and start comparing the Daniel Craigs to all the others.
But see, I think people like us are doing that, but then I think there's a whole other group of audiences that have never really watched the old Bonds, that have looked at this like, oh, well, if this is actually worth seeing. So kind of bringing in the old ones and bringing in the new ones as well.
As much as I hate to say it, I think people like us are is kind of a niche market. You know, the audience we're focused on is, I don't think, like, because I know my parents don't compare and contrast the other Bonds, like would have never had the Dalton, you know, mixed conversation.
Right.
You know, I don't think they're definitely out there is one of the reasons we're doing the show, but I don't think that the general mainstream audience would say,
would compare him to all the other ones that played Bond? I mean,
yeah, I don't think they would do it as much. I definitely, because there's been so many Bonds and it's such a known role that I think there's a more likely chance, but I don't think they're going to do it a lot.
Right, and the franchise itself, way before these movies, has definitely had its ups and downs. Some movies were god-awful, and some were really good and really thought out.
So what was your score?
He gave it a 3.
3 to 5?
3. Because obviously I don't think I could ever give any Bond movie a 4. You can't defend them like that.
Not unless you require drinking.
As far as just flat-out entertainment, you know, this is... You could never expect a Bond movie to be the most realistic thing in the world, but this is about as realistic as I would ever want it to to be.
Or Man with the Golden Gun.
And I'm definitely a fan of the series.
Gun.
What?
Thunderball?
Man with the Golden Gun.
Yeah, right.
Octopussy?
Hey, Man with the Golden Gun rocked.
Tomorrow Never Dies.
Live and Let Die. Live and Let Die.
Okay, so now here comes to the movie news portion of the show. Wow. And I thought I couldn't sing.
Yeah, and Guns N' Roses actually did do the song for that one.
So now into the movie news portion of the show, and my two section of movie news, because what did we do on the I still can't get over you singing. Wow.
I'm sure the audience couldn't get over it either.
So what we do is when it's new release, when we all have to pick a new release that we agree on, we all get 2 or 3 pieces of movie news each. And here's my two. My two are actually video game related. One, this is 2 of my all-time favorite games. One is the Deus Ex video game may get a movie.
Really?
Which is cool, because it might be by the same guy who did the Sinister film, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, I want to see Sinister.
I absolutely love the universe Deus Ex is in. I don't know if either of you two have played it.
I haven't played that one, but I have played knockout, expansions of it.
Yeah, Snowfall.
Like Snowfall, which I really like that one.
Because there's
except for the fact it only took 30 minutes to beat it.
I know. There's like Deus Ex, and there's Deus Ex Invisible War, and the new one, Human Revolution. I really like it. And the next one is Splinter Cell, and Tom Hardy, according to lately what I've found, is said he's supposed to take the lead character.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, but I
Now,
have
this was a movie that was supposed to be out. We're talking probably 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
they announced that they were going to do this, and then it just got mothballed.
Yeah, the only thing is, I have to agree with the person who wrote this this article. Said if Michael Ironside isn't involved at all, he's going to be upset.
Okay, now, I mean, I like Tom Hardy, but he's a little bulky to play him.
I don't think he's old enough.
Sort of, but I mean, look, remember him in
And he's like
his
50.
character in Inception. He was just as skinny as anybody else.
I think
you know?
I think the main thing going against him, he's not old enough. The lead,
Yeah.
the guy Fisher is an older guy.
Sam Fisher was a little bit older.
Yeah, Sam Fisher was like in his 50s.
Yeah, he's
Well,
the
he was
old.
probably late 40s, 48.
Yeah.
49.
No, and what is it? Chaos Theory, he was 50.
Oh, that's right.
Obviously, they don't have to make him exactly that old, but I mean,
Chaos
Tom
Theory, he was
Hardy-
50.
But I think that the thing where I think it fits is because he's like the old dog they dragged back because they still know that he's the best of the best type of thing.
So, do you think that this one's going to be a prequel then, Ryan?
Oh, that's a good
What's that?
point.
Do you think this one's going to be a prequel?
Like
Like he's really young.
Like how they make
No, I
the.
don't think so because I think look, Tom Hardy's one of those people that every movie that I've seen him in, I don't recognize him because he just becomes that character. I mean, look, especially nowadays, dude, they can make that dude look 50, you know, or at
true.
least around that age.
But I
And
think they would-
They play it exactly like they want to. I mean,
But I think
he's
they would have
definitely
a good-
enough actor.
I think they'd have a good chance of getting something going if they played it as a precursor. Because I mean, then he can be the young guy, which he is. How old is Tom
Look
Hardy?
that young.
How old is Tom Hardy?
It's got to be in his 30s or 40s. I'm
Probably
assuming.
40.
Yeah.
Really?
My only concern to doing a prequel on a movie on a video game based movie is
77. He's 33. Actually, 34.
Okay.
September
Oh, wow.
15th.
So
He's 34.
My only concern about it is I don't think if you did a prequel, I don't think you would draw the people in who would be your base audience. The base audience being the video games fans. I think if they could do the beginning of Splinter Cell, they could show like a flashback of him being a young spy quitting type of thing, if that was part of the story. That I could see them do, but I don't think if they did a straight prequel, I don't think it would sell well.
No, I don't think so. Because, well, look, I mean, all the people that are going to like this movie are my age. You know what I mean? And we played so many of the damn video games that there's a pretty specific, thing that we would want to see, and it wouldn't be a prequel.
His hand going for the knife every time he gets close to somebody.
Right, exactly.
Accidentally hitting the controller and stabbing the dude.
Right. I just give me a movie of the bank,
Accidentally.
and we're good.
So, what about you, Ryan? What's your movie news?
Okay, well, I only really brought in one piece of movie news, but I'm so freaking invested in what's going on with The Hobbit nowadays that when I read something like The Hobbit is killing animals.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
The Wranglers on the movie are saying that animals are dying due to unsafe conditions. During the movie, obviously, Hollywood is huge into keeping an eye on how the animals are treated in these types of movies. They have been forever.
Except for the slaughter of vegetables.
The series Luck, because
Down,
3
boy.
thoroughbred horses died during the filming of it. I mean, they just shut down an entire series that they spent millions of dollars to produce.
Which one?
Shut it down. But then this one, basically what they're saying is that, okay, they're under strict regulations while they're filming, but there's not a whole lot of oversight and regulation as far as where the animals are kept when they're not being used. So I guess the area that they were being kept in was full of like pit holes and things like that, death traps as the activists are calling them.
So this is the Wranglers' fault, not the.
Well, the Wranglers were the ones that pretty much started to blow the whistle on it. There was a guy that actually supposedly was fired for calling attention to it to one of the producers or somebody that was involved.
So isn't the Wranglers' job to fix that?
Yes.
So
Well, I think it's
You'd think so.
their job to notice if something is wrong and then bring it to somebody's attention. But on this kind of a movie, this sort of a scale, you have so many animals that you're dealing with that I mean, obviously, people have been shut down for things like this. Productions have been shut down. In a movie like this, they can't afford to get shut down, because an animal died. And, apparently there's been a bunch of representatives of the movie coming out saying, look, a lot of them are, we're just dying of natural causes. And, the animals are being treated well. There's a bunch of people sort of on both sides of this argument.
Does this mean they can't?
The heads of the production company came out and said, "Look, these animals are not being mistreated," but I think an investigation is still sort of underway.
I mean, James Cameron raised the bar. Don't they know that?
So does this mean they can't put no animals were harmed in the making of this film at the end of the movie?
But I mean, they tried the same crap with the whole thing of Braveheart. I mean, Mel Gibson discusses it, and I know some people don't like Mel Gibson, but I mean, back in Braveheart, everybody liked him. So,
right,
true.
You know, they tried the same thing, saying that animals were harmed in his production, and he just actually let them come through. So, I mean, have they not done that on James Cameron's set?
Well,
I mean, are they not letting like PETA come in? Well, I wouldn't let PETA come in. They're a bunch of stupid idiots anyway.
Well,
but are they
agendas aside,
I think they're still filming in crazy remote locations. So I mean, it's mostly just the people that are there, and obviously they I think they're required to hire. I don't know if they outsource it or what, but I know they're required to have people on staff or on site as far as like the
veterinarians.
Sure the animals is okay.
You figured that they would have to have something like that, but I mean, oh well. If you're in a remote set, I mean, I'm assuming they're back in New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I think that's the only place they could find, Middle Earth.
You head out in the middle of nowhere. It's not going to be safe conditions. You're not going to have somebody coming through and like grading the ground to make sure that there's no tiny.
Like I said, I mean that's the thing. I mean they can do all kinds of things when they're there on set filming. They got a bunch of people making sure the animals are cool because you can't have one of the hobbits riding a horse and then the horse dies then. But obviously,
the guy's going to die.
The pen, they're not really worried about that because it's not part of the filming process. So there's not a whole lot of Overwatch,
Yeah.
And they say just a lot of these things as far as their living conditions, just oversighted.
I think most of it is probably just BS, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is just, like a couple of people said something like, hey, maybe we should do something about these living conditions, but look, animals die, obviously it's not, doesn't have to be somebody's fault like that.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. You have a lot of animals around.
So what about you, James?
So I've got a couple interesting pieces that are going to be happening pretty soon. I don't know if you guys have heard about this one called the Zero Theorem. No? All right, Matt Damon is actually working on this one as
I have. I'm pretty sure I have.
No, he's not a director or anything. He's actually an actor in this movie.
Okay, not what I was thinking.
This is kind of an interesting plot. It's a drama, but a computer hacker is working on the reason for human existence, and his work continually gets interrupted by the management, which is what Matt Damon's role is. But not only does this movie have Matt Damon, but it also has Christoph Waltz.
Really?
So these two guys in this movie as actors, like top billed actors in this one, really catch my eye. So it catches my attention. I mean, the plot doesn't seem that thick or that great, but these two guys being in it really speaks something. Not only that, but it's also got a really interesting director. I don't know if you know the name, Ryan. Terry Gilliam.
Yeah, I do. I just
Ryan,
can't place him.
John does. Okay.
I can't place him.
Director of 12 Monkeys. These are the highlights of his career.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Good boy.
Directed all of the interstitial cartoons for Monty Python. All of the
That's
Monty
my
Python
man.
stuff.
And
he was the only American in Monty Python. And then I saw his first movie. I think it was, let's see, what was the first one he directed? Was that Fear and Loathing?
No.
I just remember thinking, this is the guy that did the cartoons?
Yeah, he did the cartoons.
Like, we must be talking about two different people here.
And he was a co-writer for most of the Flying Circus, and into the Monty Pythons. Right. So he's been with them as a writer for a very long time. Huh?
Was he the one that did Gonzo?
I don't know. I'm going to have to pull him up. Hold on a second. Terry... stupid thing.
It's always fun to hear people spell out loud when they're watching a show.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't spelling out loud. I was just reminding myself his last name. Yeah. Make sure I was spelling his last name right. You wanted his directing debut? Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah.
His directing debut was in 1968 doing Storytime, Miracle of Flight, and then he went on to Monty Python, Jabberwocky, Time Bandits.
Well, he did Jabberwocky?
Crimson
Life
Permanent.
of Brian was written by him. Meaning of Life was written by him.
Yeah, are you talking about the ones that he wrote? He also did The Fisher King.
I was kind of staring at his writing credits.
The one that I don't.
Holy Grail.
The one that I don't like that he directed was The Brothers Grimm. But I mean,
Fisher King.
Yeah, The Fisher King. I said that.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, in Brazil, that's the one I was thinking. Not Gonzo. Brazil.
Yeah. So anyway, so I mean, he's got a really great, background as a director and producer and writer. So I'm really looking forward to this one to see what this one's all about. Because I mean, it's one of those plots that is so like that. Just a summary doesn't catch how in depth that movie can actually be. I mean, have you ever read
like it might be a little bit intriguing in the way, like sort of kind of reminiscent of Cube, where you have like this maybe mysterious management kind of thing going on, where like who exactly is the management, what exactly is their motivation for distracting this guy from his supposed work, Yeah,
exactly. And then the writer of this is called Pat Russian. She's not well known for anything, but it says that she teaches writing for a college in Florida or university in Florida somewhere. And anyway, so it looks like a story that she probably pitched and got picked up by
that's cool
by this guy, and it's getting produced and produced and now, and it looks really good. It could be. I mean, have you ever read the synopsis for Requiem for a Dream? I mean, it's really thin even there, but that movie is so in depth, and I'm hoping that's kind of what they do here.
Right. Yeah. Well, usually when they're that kind of intentionally vague about these kinds of descriptions.
Okay, I know that's not here.
It's for that kind of like, this movie is only about intrigue. What I mean? Like what exactly is going on behind the scenes.
Freeway.
So the other part of my news is, I'm actually, I'm excited for this one as well. This one is in pre-production. This one's the one that I just spoke of. The Zero Theorem is scheduled for 2013. I didn't see an actual month. This one that I'm going to bring up is in pre-production, and it's estimated for 2014. No real plot here yet, but X-Men Days in Future Past.
Oh, this is the one that might have Patrick Stewart.
Yeah. So
this one's going to be good.
This one, I'm pretty excited about it because it's still got Bryan Singer as the producer, which I liked how he did it. There's not too much confirmed about it yet. They do have the same main cast. Azazel is going to be back,
and this is the one that this one's an actual comic book, right?
I don't know.
I think this is an actual.
I mean, there's not much. Movies, dude, or the first three, the three X-Men movies.
Did you just say that? Oh man, it smells like crap in here now.
That's what I'm saying. But I don't know. Look, the first three were not exactly great.
They were horrible.
They were interesting to see. Those things on, like, to watch Wolverine's claws come out of his hand was something that people wanted to see live action. That was cool.
The only way,
but as far as like the plots of the thing, they took so much canon over so many years and plugged it into 3 movies, and it was really, really bizarre. They just chopped everything up and sort of made everything happen in like a year.
The only person who could do it that well would be Peter Jackson. I mean,
do you remember, since we were talking about, Monty Python movies. Do you remember the end of the Monty Python movie, Life of Brian, when I think it was Life of Brian?
Always look on the bright side of life?
Yeah, but when he's sitting there and he's got that fat guy at the table and he starts eating everything and gets way too full and starts vomiting and crapping himself.
Was the meaning of life.
Yeah, I think it might have been the meaning of life. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, you remember that part, right?
Life of Brian was the crucifixion scene with Eric Idle singing Always Look on the Bright Side of Life.
That's right. Okay. So yeah, the Life of Brian, when he's sitting there and he's just like throwing up all over himself, that's what they did to the first 3 X-Men movies. Well, they shoved so much stuff into it.
The second one was decent.
The second one was decent because they brought some more characters in. I got to see Nightcrawler, shit like that.
We're gonna have
to see Wolverine go all berserker mode.
We're gonna have to start. We're gonna have to wrap it up a little.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm excited for this one because X-Men First Class I thought was really well done.
I agree with that.
A redeeming factor of the X-Men series.
And it had bacon. Yeah. So everything's better with bacon. Okay, not everything.
All right. Anyway,
Anything else?
No, I'm good. You're on movie for next week.
Yep. So next week's movie. Well, next week's movie, I'm picking the movie Hackers, and I can do it for a special reason.
Son of a bitch.
I'm picking the movie Hackers because in the month in December, we're doing something special. We're calling it a very Tarantino Christmas. Oh,
god damn.
Okay, then I could pick a different one.
No, I mean, look, because you're going to pick something equally as insane.
Okay, I can pick my second one then.
Don't do it.
No, my second
my
second one's a lot better. I can promise.
A lot better for who?
It's Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
So, ladies and gentlemen, never mind the Hackers. I guess we're going to do Shawshank Redemption next week, which is one of my all-time favorite top 10 movies. And in the month of December, we're going to do a very Tarantino Christmas leading up to Django Unchained, which is his new film joint or whatever the new name and culture is these days. So, ladies and gentlemen, I gave Bond, Skyfall, a 3 out of 5. James gave it a 3 out of 5, and Ryan gave it a 3 out of 5. So see you next week.
Goodbye.
They will support you. They will do referrals between clients. You can't ask for a more complete marketing package.
We love the windfall!
And you can too. Think advertising with the windfall couldn't get any better? Well, it just did. For only $125 for a 30-second commercial filmed by Old Guy Tech TV, you can be seen and heard.